Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity and welcome to a really fun video that I have been looking forward so much to filming. I don't know if that was very good grammar, but I've been really looking forward to filming this. Before we get into it, if you do hear little noises, little Levi is keeping me company for a bit before he goes down for his nap. And of course when I pause to let him have his say, he stops. But anyway, he's getting a lot more vocal these days, so you probably hear a little bit of grunts and whatnot, but he's just down here keeping mama company. But anyway, to get to today's video, I have Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner to thank for this video completely because she did this video and she totally inspired me to want to sit down and do the same. Very talkative these days. So anyway, I will have her video linked down below, but basically she just sat down and talked about the palettes that she did not buy because she is on YouTube and has a YouTube channel. And if you're unaware as a YouTuber, depending on your stance and like how serious you take it, how particular you are, there are some launches and stuff that you may or may not take advantage of, either because you're on YouTube, because you're not on YouTube. We're gonna get all into it, but I'm definitely one of those people who my YouTube channel determines a lot if I buy something or not. And I definitely have 10 palettes that I have not bought because I am on YouTube. So I'm going to be doing that. And then she also did the opposite of that video where she did 10 palettes she did buy because she's on YouTube and maybe she wouldn't have bought otherwise. And I'm also going to be doing that in a couple days. So if you like this video and want to stick around to hear my answers to the opposite of that, feel free to subscribe and I will have that out in a couple more days. But yeah, today we're going to talk about 10 palettes. I think about 10 palettes. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's 9. Maybe it's 11. We're going to talk about the palettes that I did not buy, or at least I have not bought yet. You know, some of these are permanent, but I didn't buy because I have a YouTube channel. Okay, if a lash is popping off at any time, I'm trying out a new magnetic liner. And it's working okay. But anyway, that'll be the reason why. Alright, so the first palette that I thought of almost right away was the Morphe Boss Mood palette. I forget exactly what the numbers and letters were, but it basically was that one palette that was launched 2 holiday seasons ago, but it had like a square of 4 or maybe it was 6 green shadows, and anyone who bought that palette and did a look with those green shadows, I was just like, that looks so pretty, I want it. And you know, at the time, well, for starters, I've never been a huge fan of Morphe in general, like their quality and then their business practices and stuff like that. So at the time I was like, you know, I don't really want to buy it and support them. I don't really want to buy it and feature it to my audience. And then on top of that, it's like I really didn't want to buy it and have to review it because it was such a large palette. And I knew from previous Morphe purchases that I never really liked their palettes because there's just so many shades of the same. But if I wasn't on YouTube, I would have bought that palette and then only ever picked it up for those that little quad, or maybe it was 6. I think it was just 4 that really intrigued me, that was like grungy greens. If I wasn't on YouTube, I feel like I would have bought it with a discount or when it was on sale and just used it for those shadows, maybe depotted it, but maybe not, just left it, but I wouldn't have bothered with any of the other ones. But because I am on YouTube and I do have a channel, anytime I went to purchase it, I was like, no, like if I bought it, then I'd have to, you know, try it out for a month. I'd have to do a bunch of looks with it, and I just don't want to do a bunch of looks with it. I didn't really want to try out all the different shadows in that palette and have to review it here on YouTube, and I really was only interested in those 4 shadows, and that just seemed kind of silly to buy a whole palette for just 4 shadows. So honestly, a big reason why I didn't buy it was because A, I didn't want to review it, and B, I didn't want to have to like justify buying a whole palette to just use 4 shadows to my audience. Kind of silly, but honestly, that is why I didn't buy it. The next palette that I did not buy because I have a YouTube channel would have been the Certifeye Affinity 2 palette. Now this is a palette that, basically the reason I never bought it was because I felt like I missed the boat, and then it just, I try not to buy palettes that have been out too long because I feel like if I buy it, I want to do a video with it. And then palettes that were launched a long time ago don't really have a whole lot of interest, like the views and the video interest doesn't really do well on my channel. So I try not to buy older palettes, even though I did buy the Slush palette. Anyway, I try not to, and this is one of those palettes that I was really intrigued because it's that blue-green, beautiful color story. But by the time it came back into stock, and the fact that I had to buy it from overseas, and the conversion and the shipping rates, it was just all kept adding up, and I was like, you know what? As much as I would love to have it again for those greens, I mean the blues are fun and pretty too, but I was really wanting it for those greens. I was like, you know what, I kind of missed the boat. Everyone's already talked about it, everyone's already done videos about it, and I keep talking myself out of it, and at this point, it's definitely been so long, I feel like there wouldn't be any interest, so that's why I've never bought it, even though, for one, I want to try Certifeye Cosmetics at some point, and 2, that palette still does make me turn my head. Next up would be the sister brand to Certifeye is Blush Tribe. I'm pretty sure it's not the sister brand, I shouldn't say, but I think the brand owner of Certifeye and the brand owner of Blush Tribe are sisters. That's what I mean by sister brand. But anyway, Blush Tribe, I am always, to this day, still eyeing her Lila, I think it's Lila, the green palette. And I don't know why or how I missed it. I can't remember when this first launched, but I missed it. Like, I missed the initial, like, woo, new palette, who wants to buy it? So when I went to go look at it after the fact, I was like, you know, it's kind of already too late by the time, you know, they did a restock or whatever. I went to actually purchase it. There were so many times I put it in my cart and I put in the discount code and I went to check out and then I saw the conversion rate and then added on top of that the shipping and all that. And I was like, oh, you know, this is getting kind of expensive for a palette that isn't new, so not a whole lot of interest if I were to do a review on it. So even though I had a lot of those colors, the packaging still got me. I really enjoy Blush Tribe as a brand. I have two of her palettes, the Polina and the Hasina too, I think, the purple, blue, green. Her mattes are really nice and very pigmented, and so when I saw she had an all green palette, again, I can't remember why I missed the initial launch of that. I feel like it launched after I tried the other two palettes from her, so I don't know why I talked myself out of it initially, but by the time I was like, you know what, Katie, you really want that palette, you should really go and get it, I was just kind of like, it's too late. And so because I had a YouTube channel, I really talked myself out of it. Otherwise, I know at some point I would have bought it because I would just wait to maybe buy enough to get free shipping or take advantage of a really good sale, and I would have just bought it and had fun with it and maybe only created one or two looks out of it, maybe only created one, but I would have had fun with it and it would have been something pretty to add to my collection. But like I said, because I have a YouTube channel, I was like, it's just a little too late. I kind of missed the boat with that. I didn't jump on it right away, so I talked myself out of it. The next palette is the BH Cosmetics Daisy Marquez. This palette right here. When it first launched, I was like, ooh, that's kind of pretty. There's something about it that just really intrigues me. But, you know, because I knew a little bit of the YouTuber, but I wasn't really following her, I was like, you know what? I don't need that. I can just pass by it. And, you know, not the whole color story really intrigued me. But in the months, weeks following, every time I saw this palette on the Ulta website, came across it in store, saw looks with it, I was just like, but that yellow and that green in there, oh, that's pretty. And there's so many other aspects of this that the looks that I saw created with this palette were extremely beautiful. And I'm pretty sure there was even a time when BH Cosmetics was on sale on Ulta, but by the time that happened, there was really no point in buying it. Once again, you know, I felt like I'd missed the boat, and so there wouldn't have been a whole lot of interest on my YouTube channel. So to go through the effort of trying it, testing it, making a video on it when I could be focusing on newer release palettes that would do better on my channel, just really talked myself out of it, and I just couldn't see the point of buying it. But I mean, it's still available today, and still to this day, anytime I see it, I'm like, oh, but that's really pretty. If I was an average consumer who wasn't on YouTube, who barely watched YouTube, not gonna lie, I probably would have picked this up during a sale. Okay, and since we're talking about BH Cosmetics, let's just stay on that. The BH Cosmetics Take Me to Brazil. You know how many times I've looked at this? You know how many looks I've seen and I've just like, my jaw has dropped? And mainly, once again, for that yellow, orange, green section in the center. It's just so beautiful. It gets me every time, and I'm always looking at it. The packaging on the outside is beautiful. Again, whenever there's a sale for BH Cosmetics palettes, I'm like, ooh, but that's pretty. Ooh, but that could have some fun looks. It's just pretty packaging. But I just continue to talk myself out of it because of the same old story. I've missed the boat. It's already an older palette, and I just feel like I could be giving my attention and my time of testing that to a new palette that is coming out that would get better reaction from my subscribers and better views and whatnot. So when I think about that, it's always like, you know what? Yes, I would love to add to my collection. I think it'd be beautiful, gorgeous packaging, fun color story, fun eye looks I could get from it. I just kind of missed the boat. So next up, okay, this one is actually a recent kind of a palette that I've talked myself out of, but it is this Tarte Spicey Betch palette. I debated back and forth on this for so long. It was so tough. Like when it first launched, I was like, ooh, this is pretty, I'll buy it, but it was a little more expensive. I think it was $34. Don't quote me on that. It was, you know, a Tarte price tag. So I was like, oh, you know, should I get this and do, you know, eye swatches, and I could do 3 looks, 1 palette. I typed it into YouTube. Not many people reviewed it or did videos on it, I should say, at all on YouTube. So I was like, cool, maybe this will be a good opportunity to put some more information out there for people. But then I was just so bombarded at that time with palettes I was trying to try. I was like, do I really want to add another palette to it? And then there was a couple other launches. I think it was like Midas Cosmetics was coming out with their launch, the Smoky Glow palette. And then what else was I buying? I think I just bought the Slush palette. The Makeup Revolution was, I don't know, there was a couple palettes coming out or about to come out around that time. I was just like, oh, this is going to get a lot, and then I'm going to have all this to review. And I just kept hemming and hawing about it until finally I kind of realized that this has like been out for 2 months or something. So yeah, another story of just kind of too late, and I just didn't want to pay that much for a palette I don't need, that I would spend all that time testing. I feel like this is getting very monotonous at this point, but that deciding factor when it comes to older palettes really talks me out of a lot, just really makes me hesitate to the point that I just don't do anything, so therefore I don't buy it, which I guess is good for my wallet. But it was cute packaging. I thought it looked pretty, and I was curious to see if Tarte could do vibrant and very bold eyeshadows and see how they would blend and whatnot, but I missed the boat, and I'm actually not too sad that I missed the boat, because Give Me Glow is coming out with a Spicey palette that has the same, you know, not same packaging, but same color story, same theme, that's the word, and I am way more excited for the Give Me Glow, and I'm definitely buying it. I haven't even seen the inside, but the outside has me excited, and I like Give Me Glow's formula, so I am going to be buying that and reviewing it, and I'll make sure I jump on it right at the launch so that I can be on top of that one. This one I still, again, I feel like all these palettes I kind of still go back and forth on, but this is the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette. When this came out, I was just like, oh my goodness, so beautiful. There's just something about the whole color story that just makes me want to smile. Especially at that time, I wasn't as into the neon shadows, so I thought it was totally beautiful, and I don't know why I didn't buy it originally, but then shortly after it came out, it started getting bad reviews, so then I was like, I just hemmed and hawed about it too long until it was just too old, past its prime. Okay, we're almost done. 2 more brands. The next one is a Blackmoon Cosmetics, their Orb. I forget what it's called, Orb of something. It's like an orb palette. It's half a moon, or half a circle I should say, and it's all matte and very neutral. When that first came out, that looked so beautiful, and around when it came out, I was much more into the all matte looks and a little more into the neutrals. I was stepping into colorful though, so that's honestly the biggest reason I hesitated about it, but still to this day, whenever I see that palette, I'm just like, but it looks really pretty. Like, that would be fun to have in my collection. And again, it's one of those stories where if I wasn't on YouTube, I probably would have purchased it during a sale at some point just to have, use a couple times, have in my collection. I think the packaging is gorgeous, but because I'm on YouTube, it's like, you don't need it, you're not even getting, and not that I ever get my money back when it comes to making YouTube videos. Like, I don't make that much on a video to get anywhere near my money back on the palettes that I buy, but I like to see a return on investment, even if it's getting a couple new subscribers with a video, or, you know, getting a decent amount of views with that video, that kind of thing. That's my kind of return on investment. Okay, last one, as the little man gets fussy. This one, I'm gonna admit, I am going to buy it. I just don't know when. This is from Shroud Cosmetics, previously Strobe Cosmetics, but it is their Creepy Cute and Divinity. I think it's Divinity palette. Those 2 palettes I am going to buy, but I have not bought yet because it's just, they're older palettes. Once again, they're older palettes, and I can't justify it anytime I want to go and spend my money on a new product and new makeup. I'm always like, oh, but there's these new releases that you really should buy and try and, you know, focus your attention and your time on. And those palettes, there's so many times I put them on my cart, but it just kind of, they just kind of keep getting pushed to next time. And you know, I should have said this before, but there are also, not so much anymore. Every time I move, I lose PR contacts, and so at this point, like, I still get a decent, I'm not saying I don't get PR, I get a lot of PR, but not so much palettes. I feel like there are a lot of other things, but every now and then I'll get palettes or eye makeup or something, and I feel like because I have those products and I get sent them, if I am at all interested, I like to review them, just, you know, kind of to say thank you, especially when it's a smaller brand. So that also plays into me being able to buy and try all these different types of palettes and whatnot if I have to also try different PR products out, or if you guys, you know, ask me to try something out that I get in PR, that's another reason I'll take the time to try it, even if I'm not super into it. So yeah, that's another reason that maybe if I wasn't on YouTube at all, I didn't get any PR, I probably would have already bought the Strobe, Creepy Cute, whatever, Strobe Cosmetic, or Shroud Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette and the Divinity palette, because, you know, I wouldn't have as much to try, or I wouldn't have so much makeup waiting in the wings, I guess you could say. Like, I would probably buy and use as I'm able to try them, and I probably wouldn't spend as much time on the palettes as I do. Like, when I review a palette, I do minimum, if it's a decent, like a regular size palette, I do a minimum of 3 looks, but typically I try to make sure I use, in some capacity, every eyeshadow in the palette. So if it's a bigger palette, it takes longer to review, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a lot more time consuming, whereas if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I'd just reach for a palette when I felt like it, and I'd grab a new palette every day kind of thing, and I wouldn't have to sit there and be like, okay, this palette I have to use for the next 3 or 4 days consecutively to really get my thoughts on it before I can try another palette. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, the Shroud Cosmetics, those 2 palettes, they look so beautiful. I've heard such good things about their pastel formula, the Creepy Cute, and yeah, they've always intrigued me, but I have yet to buy it because of my YouTube channel. I feel like I could just, you know, invest it in other things and newer releases that would do better on my channel than an older release. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the palettes that I thought of, you know, when I was thinking of this video idea. Those are the palettes that I thought of that I have not or will not buy because I have a YouTube channel. As I was going along and explaining my reasons, I feel like it was very repetitive and I just didn't buy it because I missed it, but I hope it was still somewhat interesting and entertaining for you guys, and hope you guys didn't mind. Little guy's grunting and whatnot, but he is tired, so I'm gonna wrap it up here and go put him to bed. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing it. I just thought this was a really fun video, something different to sit down and do, and it was definitely a video. As I was watching Annette share her video, I was like, oh my goodness, there are so many palettes that the main reason I did not buy them at some time, at some point, that I don't currently own them, is because I have a YouTube channel and I just kind of view things a little differently. I just kind of think of my channel, and while this is totally still a hobby, it's still something I like to keep in mind and try to get some type of return on investment. As I said, even if it's just a bump up in views for that video, that kind of thing, it kind of still gets my channel out there, and for me that's a decent return on investment. So yeah, I'm gonna get down a rabbit trail at that point, but like I said, I hope you guys found it somewhat interesting. I hope my lash wasn't popping up, and I hope he wasn't too loud during this video. But as I said, I'm going to do the opposite of this in a couple days. So if you enjoyed this video, if you want to hear the palettes that I did buy solely because I'm on YouTube and I probably wouldn't have bought otherwise, stick around, feel free to subscribe. It's going to come in a couple days. And yeah, on your way out, if you could hit the thumbs up button, that would really help me out in the whole YouTube algorithm. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. We will see you very soon, probably, in my next video. Bye, guys.